Mama.
Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Jaybird TV. Today's episode is a tricky finish V8. Quite a tricky finish, as you will see in just a few climbs here. Getting started upstairs, and I'm all the way to the right on a flat section of the wall on this orange V6, V7. As you can see, it traverses out left. Here is actually the crux. I'm able to do a tall man beta, get really reachy. I have a +8 index and pretty lanky monkey arms. Otherwise, I would have to do an undercling, or rather thumdercling with my thumb, in order to make it out left to get to the other side of this feature, where really you have some bomber side pulls and you're able to kind of work your way up to the upper left corner. It's a fun route. So a lot of people working on it, which is always really hype. If a route gets a lot of traffic, it's probably fun and maybe a little more complex. I love seeing routes that are more technical, just because you can get a variety of climbers and whoever can figure it out and get the best beta can get the send. Of course, being a powerful climber myself, I love when routes are just pure power, but that can be less interesting to watch with a variety of climbers just because some people might not have the power and some might have it. Next up is this blue V6, V7. We're gonna get on the overhanging roof section. Instantly gonna get more powerful. This route is pretty constant, pretty flowy. So you're working your way out on some blue ball slopers and quickly getting onto that feature, which is gonna be on the roof portion of the climb. So really just kind of adjusting my weight here, getting set, and then grabbing, some of the balls have like a pinch section, like it's kind of in cut and there's like some circles you can pinch on. They're pretty bomber. Getting a toe hook set in order to get up to this big slopey hold. I do cut feet here and then get my foot pretty high up on that juggy sloper. From there, I'm able to pull over the lip. Like I said, this route is pretty consistent, no definite crux, so pretty simple just to get up to the finish there. And I'm gonna be jumping directly onto the V8 after this climb. This is actually the end of a different session, and I just thought I'd come up here and start trying this next set. Trying to get caught up on the gym schedule. I typically will post them after the sets are down, but for local climbers who want to use it for beta, it's not as helpful, so I'm gonna try and get ahead of the gym schedule. So this is the V8, black tag in the left corner, so you already know it's gonna be a little more balancy. Starts with this really interesting mantly start, and I'm able to, I fall there, but able to get my foot up doing a hand-foot match. You see I get my left foot to my hand there. My right hand is on a hold, and I reach over and get that big sloper. And then the right hand is pretty bomber, but definitely a really spread out, core intensive move. From there, I'm able to get my right foot up, shift my weight out right, and do a match, and then come down to, it's an interesting hold. It's got a bunch of little balls on it, which give it some friction. And then matching that, going out to 2 crimps. Here my foot cuts, and I wasn't entirely sure what to do. I'm just smearing. Try and get a heel up for a hand heel match, but it didn't feel great. There wasn't enough room really to do it. So here I'm gonna try and bump my right hand, but I took too long. My fingers are getting kind of tired, so I'm popping off. Now, to be honest here, I probably should have rested. I've been doing rather well with resting in between climbs, but for whatever reason on this day, I was just feeling go get 'em and was not resting properly. So I hop right back on. Figure the beginning is not too finger intensive, rather I really feel it in my scapula, shoulder blades, and in my core. Kind of mantly too, doing some pressing, getting those triceps firing off. So here I do that foot match, which feels a little sketchy, a little delicate, but it was never too bad. Dropping down low, getting that really tough lock-off match. And then here, I opt to just bump my right hand up right away. The benefit is that, well, I fall off because I'm tired and I didn't rest, once again. But the benefit is that I can bring that left hand in right away, which is really nice. So this route is I was mentioning in previous videos, the black tags have been a little bit softer. They're starting to up the difficulty. And although this one is not as just tough, it's more tricky, especially the end of the route, which you will see. So despite the fact that I was tired there, and unable to get through that. I'd say it's one of the two cruxes. I rest up and get a little more power in my fingers, able to crimp, which is really nice. Here matching and then getting the left hand over, and then I get a heel up for a really desperate dead point. I do stick it there, but that sloper, not nearly as good as it looks. It's pretty good on the left side, but you need to hit it on the top and then match it, which still feels pretty sketch. I have a really high left foot, and I just couldn't move out of that position, so I'm gonna be peeling off the wall, hopping back on to get it from the start. So Nate LaFuria, forgive me if I pronounce your last name wrong, Nate, could be LaFuria, I guess, was asking me what video editing software I use. Well, first off, thanks for commenting and telling me the video is awesome. I really appreciate that feedback. I use Adobe Premiere Pro. It's a powerful system. It works really well. If there's any tech geeks out there or any editing people who want to recommend another software, I'm all ears. I love learning and getting new skills and learning how to use new software. But I use Adobe Premiere Pro, has done me really well. So jumping back into the route at hand, just falling off there. I once again did not rest and was not very confident on the crux, which you always got to be just confident, mentally sure yourself, and know you can do it. So getting started in this beginning sequence, doing that really crazy core intensive match, and then dropping down low, getting ready to hop back into this feature section. So M. Lama was asking, what are those yellow pants? I'm not wearing them in the shot, but some of you may recognize some pretty rad yellow pants that I wear. They are Ucraft yellow pants from Amazon. I can include a link in the description of this video if you're interested in getting a pair. They're awesome. They're really comfortable, and I think they're sweet just because they're yellow. So here I'm actually at the finish, but it was really tough to hold. So it was a slopey pinch with a screw on. They did put a screw on for the left thumb, but the top fit just felt, there was no friction. It was really tough for me to hold, and I could not figure out where to get my foot below me in order to really center my gravity and actually sit down on my heel. So I came off there, was pretty bummed. Here we go, nice sloppy start. My feet just peeling right off of that double Gaston. Able to keep it though. Honestly, I got a little more hype here just because a lot more people came upstairs. And there's just a little more energy, more people trying routes, more people watching and feeling a little more pressure. So even though I peeled off, I just was like, you know, F it, I'm gonna go for the send. Slap up that left hand, really happy to hit that. Got my thumb engaged here, which helped immensely. Grab the meat hook, going up, and I didn't show me brushing that top hold, which was a game changer. Once I brushed that off, I was able to sit the left foot below me, center my weight, and get the send. Super happy to get that one put away and move on to the rest of the routes here. So this is another session. Like I mentioned, that was the end of a previous session. So here I'm coming in and just getting warmed up. It's a pockety green V4, V5 here. Few pretty deep 2-finger pockets going on the roof section, and then coming out to some juggy, slopey pinches, if that makes sense. They're a bit slopey, but they're very big. You can pinch them and pretty easily use them. Feet coming off there, getting a little sloppy, but I was fresh and I was just getting warm, so I'm not afraid to burn a little power. Transitioning to this top section, really just getting my feet below me and trying to stand up and going for that send. So Delkin Finney was saying he just recently started at his gym being a route setter and wondered if I've ever tried setting routes. I have set some routes before, never full time for like a really long amount of time, but I've helped a terra firma set on various different occasions. I've set for competitions at a few colleges around for local competitions, things like that. And Delkin was wondering if there's any way that you can make them look really good, but also keep the difficulty of the grade that you want to achieve. So that's a really great question. I guess I don't have a fast and hard answer for you, Delkin. I would say, in order to keep things aesthetically pleasing, what a great easy practice is to just get one really big hold on the wall and kind of start with that, and then go from there. Using symmetry is always really fun. Obviously, if you're using the same color hold, it helps it to look really pretty, and try and keep with the same style of hold. But I guess in order to get the difficulty you want, I mean, that's just going to depend on your climbing style, the gym's overall climbing style. It's kind of a tough one to just give you a hard, fast answer on. My best answer I could probably give you is to just actually talk to the setters at Terra Firma, the guys who are doing it weekly and doing a really awesome job, and see what they have to say. But I guess overall, just try and get flow, use a lot of foot chips, and just try and think of some really fun, creative things. Get some inspiration from outdoor boulders. Maybe watch some, like World Cups and see what they're setting. Do some really dynamic and gymnastic. Do some that are just really crimpy and core intensive. Get a nice variety in there. But I believe in you, man. You're going to set some awesome routes, no doubt. So anyways, hopping back in the video here. A little long-winded answer on that comment. This is a black route. This one's going to give me the biggest run for my money aside from the black tag. So what you can't see are 2 crimps on the right side of the wall there, but you can see the variety of holds that I have access to. I'm on that sloper, which the way they set it, because of the angle, it's not that great, but definitely good enough to use. It's perfect for the beta that they want, which I'm unsure of here, and I'm doing like this crazy double toe hook bicycle type thing and trying to get up to 2 crimps right below that next sloper. That was not the best beta for it, although I might have been able to pull that off. So here, right away, I'm going out right, hitting the first of the 2 crimps, bumping my left hand in, moving my right hand up to the next crimp, letting my left hand come into that next sloper. Here I'm getting a heel on the right side, toe down low, then I hit that big sloper onto the lip, get another heel hook set. This allows me to match that big sloper, which is actually pretty crucial because then I can get my right hand up first. And I get through those both crimps, jump up, and the sloper was not as good as I thought it would be. Definitely good enough to use. Once again, I brushed it off. There haven't been as many brushes handy at the gym just because of Rona and everything going on. So things are getting brushed a lot less than they normally would have. So pro tip, if you're struggling on something, especially if it's slopey, brush that puppy off and you might be amazed at the difference. Just like the end of the black tag that I climbed in this video. Can just make it feel so much better when you get the grease and the grime and all that off. Anyways, using the same beta as my last attempt, I'm able to get to the top of that sloper, squeeze the core like crazy, kick out and get that foot set. From here I match and then come up to a really bomber hold, but it's set as like a undercling basically, even though it's like a round hold. Get my weight up and I stand up and hit a pretty bad crimp, which I don't have very well. Felt pretty insecure, but I managed to walk my right foot up and do a Hail Mary for the last hold here. Was pretty psyched to grab it because I did not know if I had it. So pretty amped to get the send on that. A little tougher than I expected, but dope route. So gonna take it down a notch and hop on this yellow V4, V5. We got some moon holds, a lot of side pulls, a lot of underclings on this, which makes for some really fun, interesting movement. But the foot chips are just where you want them, which is great. 2 crimps in the feature there that I'm hopping onto, and then just gonna walk my feet up. Wasn't really sure what to do here, but figured to go out left, and that would allow me to come into that really big undercling, step it up, and just finish out the route from there. So another, I guess, editing kind of question, or filming and editing. Flute butter? Sorry if I'm absolutely murdering your name, but you were asking what kind of camera setting I'm using. So I actually just use an iPhone to film because iPhones are pretty awesome at filming. But in Premiere Pro, the editing software I use, there's a lot of tweaks I can do. So I actually play with them quite a lot, almost like a filter you use. There's things I can tweak to sharpen it, change the exposure, the brightness, and kind of get the feel that I want. My end goal is just to make it look pretty and also to make it easier to see, even if it's a little bit dark in the gym. If you up the exposure, it just makes everything a little easier to see. So that's really my end goal, what I'm looking for. But black V4, V5 here, really fun, really interesting. Kind of akin to the 8 in the way that you are going to be doing some mantling, some really balancy, shifting your hips around, getting some high feet with a drop knee there in order to move my left hand up. And then this was actually a little bit of a dead point, going out right. It was really interesting to see climbers on that piece, seeing if they were able to commit to that right hand move or not, because it made a really big difference. But able to get the send there, pretty psyched about it. And gonna end the video with another black V4, V5. This one was stouter than I expected. My boy Casey there, just met him when I was doing this climbing session. He watched the video. So Casey, if you were watching, what's up, my guy? So here I've been warned, this one was a little stouter, so I was just trying to scope out some beta and making my way out right. There are some crimpy holds on the features. And right hand here again, I considered bumping my right hand where you see me getting kind of set up, but then saw there was a hand I could come into on the left side of the feature and opted for that. Foot popping, getting a little sloppy there, going up right, but I'm crimping pretty hard, which allows me to stay on the wall. Matching these two crimps and going to a really interesting big juggy hold, which feels pretty bomber. Walking my feet and hitting a few more crimps, I get a pretty high foot there, and then see that I have that start hold for a foot, so I drop down low, shift my weight onto that, and then just kind of hop up here to the finish hold, which is nice and juggy. And get in a send there, which is gonna wrap up my climbing on this wall. Awesome sets as always. And hey, thank you for watching. Much love, fam. Peace.